Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. I missed you guys last week. I was out of the state and was with some stamping friends. They invited me to an event and it was really a lot of fun. And I brought several things that are coming out in July 1st with the Stampin' Up! New online exclusives. And one of them is this sunflower embossing folder. It's awesome. It's only going to be $12. You definitely are going to want it, especially if you like sunflowers. It is a nice and thick 3D folder. It is 8.5 inches long by 6 inches, so it still fits in your Big Shot or your machine, whatever. And you can get 2 card fronts out of one pass if you want. It's kind of hard to see with the white how pretty it is. If you can see how it's nice and deep. So I also did it on gold just to see, look how pretty it is. It is just, it's wonderful. So I've got 4 projects to show you using the folder. Oh, and by the way, make sure if you buy the 3D embossing folders, which are the thick, the extra thick ones, you have to have the number 4 plate, or you have the old jewel tone one from Sizzix years ago, but it's a little bit thicker because you will run it through your machine without any of the extra plates. So it's literally just the platform, nothing else, and then like the gray number 4. So you can still buy these individually. If you don't have it, you'll need it for your 3D embossing folders, but it's worth it because they're so deeply etched. They're wonderful. So the first one, I just embossed it. This is a simple card. This is embossed on the new cloud cover, which is such a pretty color. Is it gray? Is it blue? I don't know, but I really like it. I think it kind of leans more blue. But this is a simple one that you can just add a sentiment to, and it's so pretty. That cloud cover is so elegant, and when you put a little bit of white between it, and then this one is the Secret Sea cardstock. This stamp set is wonderful. I keep showing it to you because I think you missed it last time, and it's easy to miss online. It's called The Right Words, and I love the Forever Loved, Forever Remembered. And then on the inside, I wish I had the right words for a time like this. It's just so pretty. And these dies, by the way, are on the clearance, which they call the Last Chance now. The Sentimental Park, if you have those, don't forget about them. They're so wonderful. And there's no stamp set anymore with it. Those are gone, but you don't really need it. These are only $13.60. And look how pretty they are. And they layer, and they've got this great stitching on the outside for the solid one. And then the ones on the, this is the little one right here. They have these little blooms right here. And then there's a larger one, and they have all of these, well, they have nice stem. These two, you know, you don't have the stamps for, but I don't think it matters because this cuts out this and there's all these little tiny blooms. But $13.60 is worth it just for these 3 alone, in my opinion. So I'll put those in the links below. So that's the first one. That's the easiest way to use that folder, is just emboss it with some pretty paper. Now this one is kind of bold and bright, but you could make it any color that you want to. So I embossed it in white, and then any place there was a little bit of a flat recess, I used my watercolor pencil and I just lightly did scribbling. Now some people say you don't have to blend it, you can just do the cross hatching and do scribbling. For me, I like to make it a little bit smoother. But the pencil is nice because you can really get in there more than you could like with a marker. And any place there's that little white recess, you do that, and then take your good old blender pen. This is the one with for watercoloring. It has the glycerin formula in there. And then when you just go in little squiggles and circles, it blends it in. Like, this is how I started 20 some years ago with blender pens and watercolor pencils. It's kind of therapeutic. So you're just gonna go any place that there's the blue area, like that. And then adding your color, this is the Lemon Lolly. You can do like the lightest one and just do some gentle flicks just to add a little bit of color. I wanted to keep them mostly white. You could also just do a sponge dauber and then just lightly add your color with the yellows. And then for the center, use a little bit darker blends to color the centers and the leaves. So that sentiment is from Thankful Garden. This one right here. So it looks a lot smaller here, but when you open up the stamp set, it's a nice big graphic Thankful. And this is the balmy blue, or they call it just blue, from the watercolor assortment #1. And then I put it on some azure paper. So that's idea number 2. I'm gonna put that there so you guys can have the number for it, for the folder. Idea number 3. Now this one, I cut it out from the embossing folder. So I embossed it in white and then I just cut it out. Now this is a little corner piece like that, so I didn't waste it. But I really like how it just sits down in the corner, and then you can add your ovals or something. This is from the, I think, Impressions in Bloom. And a little bit of that plaid, timeless plaid paper, a little bee, and that's on the inside with the Impressions of Bloom, I think. Just espresso for the sentiment, same sentiment as I did here, but in espresso. So if you start with the browns, so I'm using the deep blends. So, you know, we have a lot of these different brown tones. The pecan pie might look really good too with that, but this one is the deep blends, 100 and 200. If you start with the lighter one, and I know you probably can't see from where you are. Now see, now this one really looks more like a cocoa color, which I'm okay with. And I'm just using the fine point and just scribbling. I want a little bit of white left in there, and that's okay, more than solid. And just get the color on there just a little bit, and then leave it, you know? You can always go back. So just get your color on, and then leave it. And then this is Darling Duckling, and this is the light one. You can use the curries, you can use the daffodils, but I'm using my brush tip and just flicking the color up like that across. And it's gonna hit the high points, it's gonna leave a little bit of white in there, and I'm okay with it. Now this is my silicone mat, and I've got a little bit of adhesive behind it because I'm gonna just glue it on here anyway. So I just did my regular tape, and it sticks it down there enough so you don't have to chase it around. And I like doing it after it's cut like this. All right, so that's the light, right? Leaving the white in there is okay. You can even come around, you can do some of that. And to clean off the alcohol marker from your silicone mat, just use rubbing alcohol. That's what I do. So that's the light, and then go back in with the dark. And again, hold it on the side, that's your brush tip. Hold it on the side like that, and just flick like that. So you're kind of using it on the side, and just keep turning this like that. And then you're going to get that shading that's nice, that's hitting the high points of the embossing folder. And if you do a little bit less, if you do a little bit less, and because you can go back and do more, you know? There. Now, same with the dark here. I'm just gonna come in and just highlight a little bit on the dark. Whoop, that's too dark. Highlight just, there we go, that's better. Those little dots. Just hit the highlights, the little dotted parts here with the bullet tip of the darker one. And you can come in here and make it as dark as you want. It's really kind of fun. And then these are the leaves. I just cut them out, and they'll just, once I color those green, they'll just stick in there like that on your card. Right. So that is card number 3. I didn't even put it on with dimensionals. I glued it straight to the card. And again, that's the cutoff portion. Now this folder is a lot of fun for techniques. So obviously, anytime we have an embossing folder, we can ink the insides, we can do all kinds of things, but it gets very messy with the folder. So I was playing around with this, And obviously we can brayer it, we can do all sorts of things, but if you flip it over, so this is the part that's recessed, debossed, I don't know what you call it. It's the part that goes in. Take your memento pad, which is a nice hard linen pad, and rub. And when you do, you're gonna get sort of this, you can really darken in those areas that are flat, but the parts that are recessed in will just get a little bit of ink on it. And I love that distressed look. A linen pad is really the best to do this technique with. You don't want to do it with our foam pads. It has too much give. You need a nice hard pad, and this memento one is perfect for this. Now, if you do the other side, which is the raised side, it is not as pretty. It's okay. I think this would be really pretty with gold gilding or something like that, or you could do a solid color and then maybe highlight it with a light pad or a white pad, which would be really pretty. But this is the side that's just so pretty and graphic, and you can do the whole sheet very, very quickly. And then I cut it into 2-inch strips. And look at that. I mean, you can just really just burnish it and rub it. If you have the little spots that were the linen spots, those will be really great too. And I like that some of the white flour has a little bit of the black rubbed in there. I think it looks really nice. And because this is 8.5 inches, now you've got 4 pieces at 2 inches each to make your card. Now, watch your fingers. This is a little more messy, but you see I got a little bit right there on there because I handled it with my fingers. One of these good mono erasers works good to kind of get that black ink off. But in this case, I did it with the strawberry slush paper. Mambo would be great. Daffodil, something really bright yellow would be really fun with this, or a bright neon-y green with the black and white, which would be really, really cool looking. This is just with the new Sweet Jar bundle, this one right here, sending a little something your way, and I said love your way inside there on a little banner. And by the way, on July 1st, they're going to have a companion set that matches that jar punch. And it's the Jar of Joy. I'll show you some cards with that next week. So cute little holiday snowman ornaments, gingerbread that go in the jar that matches the same punch. So that's fun. Good stuff coming. Okay, I'll post all the recipes for these, so you have all the measurements and everything. And I think you're gonna like it. All right, we'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.